All right. Are you there, Rach?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I got you.
All right.
So, welcome to our Thursday cocktails and conversations with your real estate agent, Mandy Offenkamp, and Rachel Pierce with Benchmark Mortgage. So, thanks for joining me again today, Rachel. So, I have my cocktail. I hope you have yours too.
75 hard currently, so I'm diet coking it up, okay? So it's okay.
For
I'm good.
those of you that support veterans and all of the charities, Rachel is doing an amazing thing, and she is marching with the 50 mile. Why am I blanking? What's it called?
50-mile march. Yep.
Yeah, 50-mile march. That's what I was
Walking
coming
from
after.
Lincoln to Omaha. So at the end of August. So gonna be hot and challenging, and it's all about the mindset. So figured the best way to get really in the right mindset for that was to do 75 hard. So yeah, here I am.
Perfect. Well, you are amazing with everyone else. Hopefully, we can put maybe your donation link in the comments of our video. So if you guys want to donate to the 50-mile march to their team to raise money for veteran suicide and all of that, that would be greatly appreciated because me and Rachel both take those charities very seriously. So today, me and Rachel just wanted to hop on. There's been a lot of movement going on in our market. Obviously, we have seen some highs and lows, and we have seen highs and lows with our rates. So the market has definitely changed a lot, and it's definitely affecting, our buyers and sellers' mindsets as well. So me and Rachel just kind of wanted to discuss on what the market is looking like now on the real estate agent side and as well on the lending side. So if you are an agent, maybe gives you a little insight on maybe what I'm seeing. You maybe are seeing something a little different, which is totally fine. And then Rachel will maybe discuss a little bit of what they're seeing. So on the real estate side, I was going to go through some numbers. Me and Rachel were talking about them before we went live and everything. And get rid of this little picture here. They're kind of crazy. I mean, when we say we're low inventory, you guys, we're low inventory. So I just pulled it up. Our active listings, we're going to discuss Douglas County first. Without any new construction, so just your existing homes, we have 770 homes on the market. 386 that are not new. You add those new construction homes in, that's what puts us at 770. So that's insane that between new construction and existing homes, that is all these home buyers have to pick from. With that being said, on the listing agent side and the buyer's agent side, these buyers are being a little more picky than they were a year and a half ago. Before, they were more than willing to throw $30,000 over asking price at the sellers and, give an arm and a leg and their firstborn child to win. And that's definitely changing in some price points. I would say above your 400, that's definitely gone down. They're still selling quickly. Some of them are selling over listing price, but definitely not $50,000 over asking price. You get down below the 400 in your 300s and your 250s, we're still getting multiple offers. We're still getting, great removal of contingencies for the sellers and all of those things as well. So Sarpy County is pretty much no different. It is 501 listings with your new construction, and it is 121 without the new construction. So 121 existing homes in Sarpy County. Our pending listings are still looking really, really great. We have 1,041 pending in Douglas and 502 pending in Sarpy County. So fantastic. Pending numbers just shows us stuff is still selling, but the inventory is still low, leaving those buyers not much a lot to pick from. I'm sure you're seeing it, Rachel, probably calling a lot of agents, giving, your feedback on the lender side, probably multiple times still for these buyers, correct?
Oh yeah, lots of people are still obviously. I almost call it want to say devastated, especially if they're in that first time home buyer market, right? Because man, the days of first time home buyer market being 150 to 175, now what is it, 250? I mean, affordability has gone down a lot. So it's absolutely crazy inventory levels that we haven't even, very similar over the last year, right? 2 years, whatnot. But it's not getting any better anytime soon, is it?
I don't think not for our area, no. So have you seen a huge increase in like pre-approvals, like people that are finally getting okay with these normal interest rates and finally starting to reach out, or how is that looking with your pre-approvals?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you that if I was going back and looking at, what this year, it's been a real interesting year, is what I'd like to call it. So, the months that normally in the past, let's call it 5 years, let's just say a 5 year span, that we had really great months, like your March, your July, your September, May, even because people are buying houses before kids get back in school. They Crazy enough, they've been really slow in those months, and then the months that you're not expecting to be busy, more like your January and your February, those were a little bit busier. Now, as far as applications go, I've definitely seen an increase in applications after we hit that Memorial Day weekend, but it's kind of slowed down a little bit now too, because hey, we're about ready to be up to a holiday weekend. Nothing crazy there, right? I mean, it's the same stuff that we typically see with the year. But I think this year is very similar to applications. I definitely think that there are a lot of people that have definitely succumb to the new interest rate market that we're in right now and decided, you know what, why continue to be defeated, right? At some point in time, we have to kind of move forward and start to look at houses and not worry about that. But I will tell you this, people still are confused. There is a very gray area between when they're looking online and what they think they can afford and then what they're really comfortable with in that payment. So we always have that conversation up front, but it's still off. It's skewed, what people think houses are going to equate to in payment. So,
Right. Well, and to add on to that, I mean, I think people are getting used to this norm interest rate, but they're also finally catching on that they can refinance. If they come down, like they can refinance. So I think people are finally understanding, yes, it's high now, but it doesn't have to stay there.
yeah,
Obviously, when those come down, they have that opportunity to do that process and get a lower rate. So why put off, renting or throwing your money away or living in a cramped house that's way too small for your family? If you can afford and handle the higher payments for the time being, it's worth it, and everything. So I think that will
yeah,
be huge.
100%. And honestly, we have a lot of conversations about that, right? Like I'll look at hey, this is what it looks like now, but here's what it might look like in 24 months. I don't want to tell somebody and give them a false hope that they're going to be able to refinance in, 6 months or less. Cause I mean, you can listen to all the people, but at the end of the day, if the Fed says something or, we have this, civil war going on in Russia, there's so many different things that go into what goes into interest rates, right? So there's a lot of different things in politics and all the different variables. I don't really want to tell somebody, hey, look, rates are going to go down in 6 months, you can refinance. But hey,
Right.
let's look at it like, can you afford this little bit of a higher payment for 24 months? And then let's look at what's the difference in that payment. Can you stretch it out and make it work for that time period, just to know that there is end in sight and that you're going to get a little bit of a discount on when you get that opportunity to refinance. It's still a great time to buy, right? I
Right.
mean,
Absolutely.
what's ahead?
It's still a great time. So
Yeah.
absolutely. So obviously you're still getting the great amount of pre-approvals and people finally getting over these higher interest rates. Are you still seeing a good amount of those people getting their pre-approvals and actually getting to the closing table?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely think that in comparison to last year, it looks a little different, like what you were saying, right? I don't see as much cash being thrown around. I'm seeing a lot more now that NIFA, which is that first time homebuyer program, they've opened up another sector to that, which allows somebody that's not a first time home buyer to get into a house and maybe even use some down payment assistance. I've seen a lot of that, right? Because I've seen just a lot of people that are coming to me that they really just aren't educated on what their credit should be, right? Because let's talk about that, right? I mean, a lot of people had to, with the inflation times, right, charge a lot of things, right? So
Right.
there's a lot more debt out there on the table right now, and that's obviously hurt affordability as well. But I think people come to me and they maybe have some blemishes on their credit, they don't really know, or they don't have a lot of money, right? So I think that, NIFA has really done a great job of opening that up to allow more people to utilize that product. And the truth is, I've still seen some deals with some closing costs paid. Maybe they're a house that's sitting on the market, you got a good agent like Mandy here, you can get creative, right? And how you're going to put an offer together and maybe win that, right? So there's a lot of variables that go in there too. But I think that overall, we're still seeing a fair amount of people getting to the closing table. I think that if I was going to give you a percentage, I would almost say that it's probably, I don't know, 30 to 40%. And I feel like that seems low. Okay. Because I don't see as much of the cash flying around as it used to be. So people just don't have a lot of money to throw into a deal. And if they don't fit into that program, then they may have to wait or save or whatnot.
Right. And with the affordability changes, I've seen a lot more needing to go into the credit repair programs and stuff like that as well, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. I would tell you that the increase, I know this is not a joke, okay, but I almost feel like for a really long time, in those winter months, I joked about how there was probably a billboard that said, hey, look, come to see Rachel if I have really low credit scores and I don't have any money to buy a house. And I don't mean it to like put those people down. I just really feel like there was just an influx of people that were like, oh, I can buy a house now. And, there's a lot of this talk online, about how Biden's going to give you $25,000 to buy a house, right? So, or whatever it is. Okay. That really hasn't gone into effect yet, but a lot of people still think that. And so, people want to jump on that opportunity to get some money to help them buy a house, which totally makes sense. But, so absolutely, there's been an increase in people who've had blemishes on their credit, puts them in a position where they can't really buy right now, or they need some credit repair or some additional education on what they need to do to get in a better position and mortgage ready.
Right. So getting mortgage ready, like what, I know there was an increase in all of your, credit scores and stuff like that. How are those numbers looking like now? Like what does somebody really need to have in their credit score to be able to qualify to get a loan, no matter what it is?
Yeah, I would tell you that what's really important to know we talked a little bit before about the whole fluctuation and what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were doing on conventional side of things with people who had lower credit scores. It's great that the idea that they had, which was, hey, let's not charge. I think where it got a little skewed is people thought that, because I have a great credit score, I'm going to get charged more than a person who has a lower credit score. That's not really the case. What it is that, hey, the person with the lower credit score isn't getting dinged in rate as much as they were before. Okay. You're still getting a good interest rate when you're a good solid borrower. But what I would tell you is that I think that with that, the big investors have definitely tightened up their guidelines, right? So those people that are in the harder points, right, meaning they have really high debt to income ratios, lower credit scores, less months of reserves, obviously meaning they've got money sitting in that bank account or investment account or 401k or whatever it is to kind of help them in the event that they can't make their payment, right? So many months of reserves sitting there. So I think that those investors have tightened that up because they do know what's coming down the pipeline with people with, not as good a credit. So that's definitely hurt us in the lending world. But also it's important that, we have to worry about, hey, I pre-approved someone a month ago, right? And now maybe they missed a credit card payment or, they had to buy a new car or whatever. The same things that we always had to, but ratios are really more important now than they were before.
Right. So I know you were saying obviously like certain things have hurt the lending world. Obviously this crazy market, low inventory, it's hurt the real estate agent world too. Have you guys seen like a huge, our last conversation, we discussed obviously getting your loan officer's license, but have you guys seen a big change in, the amount of loan officers that you guys have in the market?
Yeah. If you watch the news at all, you've heard a lot of these banks, right, that have kind of folded or, had to close their doors. A lot of smaller mortgage companies, weren't able to keep their doors open either, because it's super expensive to process a loan nowadays, right? Because of inflation, just like everything, right? It costs more money to get a credit report pulled. It costs more money to pay people, whatever the case may be, it all adds up. And it becomes very expensive, and it's harder because of rates, right? Lenders are put in a position now more than ever that they either need to cut a rate a lot more so that they're taking less of a commission so that they can get that client into a house, right? Because the ratios are really tight, or because they're getting shopped by these crazy online lenders that are, promising the moon and the stars and things like that. So there's a lot of variables that go into it, but I would absolutely say that there's been a lot of people. It would be a really hard time right now. I'm sure you could attest to get in and be brand new. Now, I don't want to scare away people from getting into the real estate industry or the mortgage industry, because if you're a hustler and you have motivation and you can get your butt out there, you're a networker and you connect people and things like that, then it's the right thing for you. There's still a ton of business out there to be had, right?
Exactly. So I was just going to say, I'm like, the ones that are succeeding right now are the ones that are doing the work. They're hustling. They're, giving great customer service to our clients, whether it's on the lending side or on the real estate side, staying in contact with our old clients, I run a lot of our stuff in our neighborhood page. And there's already talk with even some of these tax increases that, hey, I could afford my house 2 years ago, but with these crazy tax increases that Douglas and Sarpy County both just took, some of these people are like, I can't afford my house anymore. So, it's being an entrepreneur and looking for those ways to generate income and help those people. Yes, it's great if I get to help that person sell their house. Yes, I get to make income, but I'm also helping them out of a bad situation. That means the world to me more than the income I'm making. So yeah, if you're a hustler and you're an entrepreneur and you're a true person that's gonna, go for it and just, take the bull and just take it down and run with it, then there's still a lot of business out there. And there's definitely agents that got in the business the last year. Same with lenders that I know are doing fantastic. So definitely, if you're looking at getting in the industries, don't make that be discouraging, but be ready to rock and roll. And I feel like the agents that come in at these slower downtimes are the ones that are at the top in 5 and 6 years. Because I know some of my that I look into, they got into the business in 2008 during the market crash, and now they're the agents at the top. So it really, really teaches you how to do that. But anyways, that was a great market update. As you guys know, it is still a great time to sell. So if you guys are wanting to sell, please let me know. I'm happy to run a market analysis. And obviously, if you guys are looking to buy as well, I will introduce you to my sweet friend over here, Rachel Pierce, and she can help organize all the finances and figure out where that situation is going to look like as well. So I hope you guys have a fantastic 4th of July. Me and Rachel will be back on, what day would that be? July 27th. My goodness, you guys, summer is almost over.
It just started.
I know. So yes, I hope everyone has a happy and safe 4th of July. This is a quick cocktails and conversations just to discuss the crazy market this summer. But hope you guys are all having a good one, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.